Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Podcast Show. I'm your host Mark Burns with you on episode 101 on this Shite Podcast Show. Past the big milestone of 100 and ready to roll on to the next 100 episodes. And we start off today with Fight Talk, a show that will be all about MMA, Jiu-Jitsu news, and a few other things. So keep you up to date on the world of what's happening in fighting, I guess. Starting off with a movie that's going to be all about Jiu-Jitsu. So if you're a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, you might be interested in this. Maybe if you're not even a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, you'll be at least a little bit intrigued of what a movie about Jiu-Jitsu is, especially a sci-fi movie with aliens about Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sure you're really interested to see what this movie is about. It's called Jujitsu, directed by Tom Juloff, who has worked in post-production of like Jurassic Island, a few other Jurassic movies, and he hasn't really directed a whole lot that you might have heard about, but you know, let's give him a chance with this Jujitsu movie. The synopsis of the Jujitsu movie is basically every 6 years, an ancient order of expert jiu-jitsu fighters face off a vicious alien in battle. For 1,000 years, the jiu-jitsu practitioners have played by the rules until celebrated war hero, I guess, Jake Barnes is defeated by Brax, an alien invader. The future of humanity hangs in the balance and is up to his teammates. One was played by Nicolas Cage. His character is called Wally, and they basically have to help Jake recover from his injuries and get him back to full strength so they can defeat Brax together in battle, which will be apparently to determine the fate of mankind. How can you not like a movie like that? It does sound like a plot of a really cheesy, crappy, straight to tape movie from the like late 80s, early 90s. Like if this doesn't have cheesy rock 80s music in it, I'm gonna be sadly disappointed. I think when you have a movie this kind of in this synopsis, you have to play into that kind of really bad special effects of the 90s or an 80s and just go full hog, because this is not gonna be a serious movie. I don't know if this will. I don't know when it's out either. Guess we're gonna have to keep our ears pinned for that one to find out when it's actually released. But it doesn't kind of make sense. I don't know why it's just called Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe your man really, really wanted to do a Jiu-Jitsu movie. I don't know if the aliens know Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if they're gonna have to play by IBJJF rules, or maybe that's what they mean when they said they played by the rules, like they're playing by IBJJF rules. Now the expert of jiu-jitsu fighters will have to learn like heel hooks or cross faces. They're like, we never ever use wrist locks. We must use the dark arts of heel hooking and wrist locking and covering them out. And you're just gonna see like a load of like submission only kind of rule sets coming into play into this movie. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I have a funny feeling that when they call it Jiu-Jitsu, it's not going to be actually Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It might be the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu that has more of a variety of kind of. There's a lot more emphasis on stand-up. I think there's a slight bit of striking in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu as well as, and it's not really mainly focused on the ground. So I don't think we'll see like a guy coming out in a gi and an alien just like kind of slap him, fist bump, and then they start a 5-minute match in order to determine the fate of the universe. But I have been wrong before, and I could be wrong again. I don't know. I like if it comes out, I probably will watch it to see what it's like. But yeah, I think they need to have they need to go full hog cheesy kind of 80s music, like really bad. You know, like when there's an explosion, it's kind of like really vibrant, like white lights, like so it looks like electrical kind of explosion. They need to have that, and then there's like a little bit of white smoke coming up as well. They just really have to play into the really bad special effects. And yeah, we could be on to a winner after that, but the movie is just called Jujitsu. So if I find out when it's released, I will post about it. So stay tuned to my social medias, and I will let you know. So UFC 239 was on over the weekend, and might as well go through it since while we're here. So yeah, it kind of, even though it had like arguably two of the best fighters, champions in the UFC right now, Amanda Nunes and Jon Jones, the card kind of flew under the radar in terms of publicity. The UFC did try to promote it quite well, seeing a lot up on their social medias for the fight, and it's really, really nice kind of posters, kind of like paintings of Jon Jones, Amanda Nunes, like a few of the people on the card, and like the artwork for it was like really, really incredible, like far better from like a few years ago, where it had like every single poster was a guy jabbing and looking into the distance, and his opponent would be doing the same thing. But like, yeah, it was really, really nice. The poster, like even like just the posters, it kind of just seems like one in a few years from now that like they'll have posters of like that'll be giant ones that'll cover walls, and the artwork was really nice for UFC 239. But in terms of like grabbing your attention and wanting to watch it, like in terms of like Amanda Nunes, first of all, like Amanda Nunes versus Aldo, we've seen before, and there's nothing in that fight, the first fight, that suggested that I want to see it again. It was very much a dominant performance by Amanda Nunes, and it kind of just seemed like they were doing Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holm because there wasn't really anyone else. Tatiana Suarez, I don't think she's there or thereabouts in terms of like a title opportunity, and I think it would be quite easy for Amanda Nunes. So I think that's why they did Holly Holm. They just didn't have enough girls in the division that's capable of fighting. Holly Holm was there, and she probably wanted to fight. There's no one else really there for Holly Holm to fight either. So like, they may put 1-1 together and got 6, I guess. In terms of that one, Jon Jones, you kind of expect Jon Jones, no matter what fight it is, Jon Jones is going to come out and dominate. Now, I wouldn't say it was his best performance. He definitely looked human during the fight, and you just like Jon Jones has performed so well. Anytime there's a person that puts it up to him and puts a challenge on Jon Jones, you're kind of going, was Jon Jones just having an off day? You kind of underestimate Thiago Santos did, or anybody did. The level that we have of Jon Jones is so high. Like, anyone that puts it up to him, we're like, oh, Jon Jones must be having an off day. And yeah, I don't see, like, there isn't a whole lot of people there in terms of who is kind of, he's almost in the situation with Amanda Nunes, where he doesn't have a whole lot to fight for right now in terms of competition, but he seems to suggest that he wants to stay at light heavyweight, doesn't want to go up to heavyweight. That kind of means that if DC wants to fight him, he will have to do it at light heavyweight. And I wondered, is that just to piss off DC in terms of him having to cut that weight and having to cut down for that? Because UFC, that's the big fight for the UFC, it's DC Jon Jones 3, and it's very rare that like there's a fight that's this hyped after we've seen the fight twice, and we've seen Jon Jones win 2 times. So like, I still want to see this fight. I still think it's interesting. Anytime Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier fight, I think it will be interesting, because it's one of those historic kind of UFC hatred battles. Like, the first fight was so good, so close. Watching it, you kind of got a sense that you're kind of watching a bit of history here. You're going to be you're going to be watching something that people will be talking about in a few years' time. And then the second fight you're watching, and I think it was the second round, Jon Jones knocks him out. But there's so much shit build up after that, especially since I think Jon Jones got suspended after that. Daniel went on a run and then went on, got 2 titles. If this was a heavyweight, it would be better. Jon Jones obviously doesn't want to go up. Right now, the rivalry, even though it does kind of seem to be more on DC's side, I think Jon Jones at this stage, since he's beaten him twice, I think he just kind of likes to rub it in a bit and kind of likes to just poke the bear. Whereas, like, DC is like, there's this, all that rivalry, all this unsettled tension against him. I don't think until DC beats Jon Jones that this will ever truly pass with DC. But I think since Jon has beaten him twice, he's a little bit more removed. So anytime these guys interact on Twitter, it's more kind of like Jon Jones is just poking the bear, just like giving a little prick, going, yeah, I'm going to get him riled up. And like, really, I don't think Jon at this stage has too much hard feelings for DC. He's actually said quite a nice bit about DC and how much he does actually respect him. But still, Jon Jones versus DC, whenever it happens, whenever the UFC puts on, should be good. It's you can watch that 5 times in a row, those matches, and each time it will probably be different. Each time it will be watchable. Ben Askren, I guess we have to talk about that. Got knocked out by George Masvidal. And do you know what? I was kind of like going over this in my head. First when I seen it, George's knee connect with Ben, and then he follow up with 2 strikes. Ben was out. It was kind of clear that he was out. He really, really didn't need to hit him twice after that. And I've seen some kind of commentary saying that, like, yeah, you don't stop until the referee pulls you off him. That's more when you're ground and pound. When you see the fighter clearly lying stiff on the ground or lying flat unconscious and he's not moving, he's clearly knocked out, going in and striking him after, you're a bit of a dirty bastard. In my mind, like, you're a bit of a cunt. So it wasn't played like that. And anytime somebody gets knocked out and they start celebrating, I've always found that so disrespectful. I don't mind people celebrating to win, like going over, hugging their teammates, all that. That's grand. But like mimicking a person being knocked out, slamming the ground while this person probably needs medical attention, and after you hit him twice when he's clearly unconscious and his head off the ground, you're a bit of a cunt already. So like, and a lot of people say, like, Ben Askren really riled up George coming into this fight. Really, like, slagged him off, got him really, really pissed off, slagged off his manhood, and you can understand why going into that fight, George was really adamant he wanted to get knocked out and he really wanted to hurt him. However, I think you have a duty to care, no matter if you hate the guy, no matter if you love the guy, no matter if you're indifferent about the guy. You have a duty of care. As soon as the fighter is unable to defend himself, you stop hitting him. That's clear. And then you just walk off. You let medical attention get to him in time. You don't be a prick about it either. Like, I don't mind if he was still on Twitter, like, slagging off Ben Askren, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. I wouldn't care about that. But like, straight away after a person is knocked out, unconscious, is needing medical attention, you're slapping that ground. You're showboating. It doesn't make you look better. It doesn't make you look any better of a fighter, any stronger of a human being. It just makes you look like a cunt. Like, that's literally in that situation. That's all you look like, is a giant cunt. So I really just didn't put a sour taste for him, and I just don't like George Masvidal anymore. I going into that fight, if he knocked out, celebrated, and then post production he's like slacking off Ben. I'd have no problem with that. I'd probably think of some of it funny now. I just think he's a giant cunt. Everything he says, he's a cunt. But like Ben, he got caught. The knee, it was a really, really well timed knee. And really good game planning going into against Ben Askren, knowing you're going up against a wrestler. Kind of knew how to make Ben fake the shot or go for the shot, as soon as he seen Ben drop his hips, lovely little kind of step up knee, catching him flush and like knocking him out. It was just like, it's the worst time to get a knee is when you're going down, your opponent's knee's going up. Especially when you jump, you can generate so much power with that knee. And yeah, just really well game planned. There was a footage 48 hours before, so I'm practicing that exact knee, and yeah, so it was, yeah, like he can't flaw the technique. I don't think it does anything to Ben Askren in terms of his credibility. Like, he just got caught. I'm sure if they fought again, the fight would go differently. It doesn't mean that Ben is past prime. Like, he's fought, I don't know how many times. Like, few of his he went a full year of fighting without getting hit. He just got caught. Everyone gets caught, and yeah, he'll bounce back. Chad Mendes retirement as well. That came out of the blue. He has decided to step away from the sport. He hasn't. I don't think he used the word exactly retirement, but it kind of seems that he is taking a long break away. 3-time title contender. He's fought Conor McGregor for the interim title, as well as Jose Aldo twice for the featherweight title. Fought in WEC. I think what people will just know him for is that epic battle that he had. 2 battles that he had with Jose Aldo. Really put both fighters on the map. Jose, at that stage, really just kind of looked like he was coasting through fighters. There wasn't anyone really to challenge Jose, and Chad was that challenge. Like, although Frankie had fought him prior to Chad, and that obviously was a huge fight. But prior to that, in the kind of assuming year after that, Chad really just seemed to kind of come out of nowhere and be like came really close to finish a fight. 2 really incredible fights against Jose Aldo, and yeah, if you haven't seen him, definitely check them out. It's kind of just unfortunate how his career ended, getting popped for performance enhancers and then not really come back the same that we've seen him before that. And you know what, Chad, he has businesses outside UFC. Like, he's in his 30s now. Right now, he's probably a good bit to go before he's back in title contention. And like, I think he's in terms of height wise, he's a bit small to go up to lightweight, and he's a bit big in terms of weight to go down to bantamweight. So featherweight is his division right now, and he isn't really fighting for the title. So this might be a good opportunity. I think as soon as you start losing a few fights and you're sort of going out title contention, you really have to ask yourself, is it my time to hang up the gloves? Chad thinks it is. I certainly think he had a few more years left in him if he wanted to continue. But you know what I like, that he's not depending on fighting. He has a few companies outside the UFC, and I'm sure he'll be still training in Team Alpha Male and helping the next generation of fighters come through there. Yeah, so sad to see another start gone from the featherweight division in terms of that. But you know, I think it might be for the best overall. Polaris, August 31st. They have another show. It's their 11th show, and yeah, there's a few really good fights on it. It's still early days. I'm sure as we get down, we'll get more and more names on the card. Wagner Rocha will be coming back. He'll be fighting for the welterweight title against Mancher, and that should be a really interesting fight. That should be, like, in terms of physical jiu-jitsu, I think this will be a really good fight. I like how Paul Harris hasn't banned the covering the mouth with the hand that Wagner likes to do, because, you know, it's effective. Some people might call it dirty, but in the sport where you're like pulling on joints and choking people with your arm, I don't see how covering your opponent's mouth with your hand is banned. It kind of, like, it does seem a bit dirty. I know maybe you don't want to drag the sport down to being using dirty tactics, but it's effective tactics, and in terms of grappling, if it's effective, we probably should use it. And yeah, so like it has caused so much controversy. I think in IBJJF it's banned. Well, I presume it's banned because they banned most techniques. And in, I don't know about ADC. I think ADCC is allowed, but I know like in like the EBI it's banned. I'm not too sure if in Quintet if they've banned it. I haven't seen anybody use it. It might be frowned upon. You don't know, but like definitely Wagner has used it to great effect. And yeah, he has a good little system in terms of back control. So that should be a really, really, really interesting match right there. Also, kind of interestingly enough, Nicky Ryan has said that he would like to fight at welterweight. Like he has called Wagner out. That could be quite interesting. I think, like, I don't know what Nicky has started to bulk up a bit. He has started to put on a bit weight. He probably is in or around the 170 weight class, but I don't know. It's a big step up for him. Nice to see that he's ambitious. Anyway, I think it'll be an interesting fight down the line for Nicky Ryan. I don't know right now. A fighter like Wagner Rocha or Manger would be best fight for him right now. All women's final as well. Fionn Davis defends her title against Talina Alenser, and Talina has actually fought Fionn before. She's beaten Fionn really recently. She has Fionn's number in terms of that. That should be a really, really interesting fight for those two. And yeah, I wonder if, because I don't know, because it's for obviously the women's title. I wonder if it's going to be competed in the gi, because I was wondering that if all matches have to be competed in no gi, or if Polaris will change it up and do some in gi, some in no gi. Quite interesting enough. Both girls are experienced in both gi and no gi, so I think they're actually both probably, I'd say, maybe preferred the gi. So it'll be really interesting. Maybe change it up, because we've seen them fight in the gi. We've seen that in the Worlds. So maybe no gi will be a change pace. It's a little bit different styles in terms of what you can get away with and what you can do. Just brings a different dimension to fighting. So that could be really interesting. There are a few other things. I did notice also on the promos is they put up a video of Marcelo Garcia, and he's just basically talking about the sport, and he's talking about how he doesn't like shit talking in kind of in the sport. He doesn't like, he thinks people should be respectful. He's kind of outspoken about this, because he always stated that people should be respectful. Anyone who went to his gym, he kind of inbreds it in his gym that everyone should be nice to any guests that they have. If you welcome them, and like I've trained there for a bit, even though Marcelo wasn't there, everyone was so like welcoming, and there's a really, really nice vibe in the gym, and you can see that's spread from the top down, and he thinks people should act like that when they're competing as well. And I don't think you can ever argue about that. Fighting in the world of fight sports, where you're trying to gain interest, obviously tension, rivalry is something that builds interest, and I can kind of see why promotion would want to cash in on that kind of interest, because right now we have the Worlds, we have the major competitions, so we don't need to see who's the best in the world at every competition. We just kind of need to build interest for the sport, and I can see why rivalries and kind of like bitterness between two fighters would be played on in terms of building up interest. But I've just kind of found it interesting. He has said that he wouldn't mind competing again. And maybe, I don't know if Polaris is kind of hinting that they're trying to get Marcelo, because during the video he does talk about wanting to compete. He said before that he wants to compete in a promotion that is respectful. He doesn't want to compete in a promotion that has any kind of is using this kind of tactics of using like shit talking amongst fighters in order to build fights. Paul Harris would fit into that model. They don't generally hype fights on kind of rivalries or anything like that. They kind of just do it on basis of the most interesting fights stylistically that they can find. Now, do I think Marcelo would travel to England to fight when he probably can get a good few matches in New York? I don't really think so. Maybe Paul Harris does a New York show. You never know. That'd be really interesting. Could be headlined by him. But I just kind of thought it was nice. They're kind of spreading the seeds of possibility. Maybe just throwing it out there. If there's no interest, maybe Marcelo does it. But I just thought that was quite interesting. And yeah, hopefully we do get to see Marcelo fight again. Whether it be EBI, whether it be Quintet, whether it be Kasai, whether it be Submission Underground, whether it be any promotion. I just think it would be great to see him back fighting, and yeah, hopefully we do pretty soon. I'm going to leave it there for our Shite Talk podcast show's Fight Talk. I'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Stay tuned.